So I wanted to get into the most attractive qualities and the attractive habits that a man can have to attract a viable woman into his life, a mate. And one of the first most attractive hobbies would be writing. So if you write, whether you write for a living or whether you write as a hobby, it's very attractive because emotionally you understand yourself better, and writing helps you formulate or reformulate your thoughts and organize your thoughts so you are a better communicator, and you have access to your higher mind um, at a more consistent basis. So writing is a very attractive quality. And second on the list would be reading. Reading is a very attractive quality to have. Women generally read more than men, statistically speaking. Women, and by the time they're 80, have read around 700 to 800 books in their lifetime, and men um, supposedly read 500 to 600 books on average in their lifetimes. That's I mean, all depending on when you start reading, and all different factors. But reading is a very attractive quality, as mentioned, and it also helps your vocabulary, your diction, which is the word usage that you implement in a sentence, in a phrase, and it'll get you a higher position in your job potentially, which is also very attractive to women, since women, not it's not just the physical that women look after. Men are more visual and physical. Not to say that women aren't attracted to very physically appealing men, but when you're in regards to making a nest and creating a family, I'm not going to get into the two types of men that women are attracted to, the F boys, and then also on the other end of the spectrum, the family man. And there's two those are two different guys, different qualities of guys, different attributes of guys. But all in all, reading is a very attractive quality to have. And then third would be being artistic or creative in the field of visual arts, being a fine artist, being a woodworker, being a metallurgy practitioner, making blacksmith creations. Also very attractive. It makes someone who can create something out of nothing. Makes a woman feel that, yeah, there's something that some sort of quality that's very uh, I guess it would be just that it's very useful to be able to make a craft, and then not even as a profession but as a hobby. It's good to have hobbies that you enjoy, so you don't really have to do the things that the things that I'm listing as in per se. As long as you're making a hobby and you're making yourself busy with something that you believe in, that you have a passion for something, that's also a very extremely attractive quality, to have a passion for something that's beyond the relationship, that makes you into the person you are. And so artistic and photography also is listed there as an attractive quality. And of course, working out, lifting weights, uh, doing martial arts. You're doing yoga. Um, in other lists that I've seen, I've seen yoga as in the bottom of the tier list, as opposed to martial arts or lifting weights or calisthenics or running or something like that. But I found as a yoga teacher, as a certified international yoga teacher, that women do really really it signals some sort of like discipline and physical discipline and spiritual discipline that is highly attractive to women. And I find as long as you're doing something that you're passionate about, and something that has a positive effect on humankind, and not only yourself but other people, and the influence that you have on other people is positive, then that incurs a lot of attraction to other people. And like, bear in mind, things like semen retention, semen retention, which I'm not really the hugest advocate of semen retention either, even though I practice a lot. I've practiced for over 10 years semen retention, but I found that like it gets to the point where it's just like you become too attractive, and you start what is it? You start you pushing away women, because they don't feel like they're good enough for you. And that's in unison with other things like reading too much. Like, if you read to an extent that it's just like, wow, that's kind of exhaustive, and like you've read most of the American canon or the English canon or European canon, as in uh, like list of books in the classical literary fiction genre, then it gets to the point where you become like this chimera, and women are kind of detracted by you. And the point that I say, the reason why I say these things with semen retention and reading, to such an extent that it's just like exhaustive, and that women feel like they have to work that much harder to reach the level that you're at, is, well, I mean, it becomes a detraction. And like, and women feel insecure around you, to the point where it just becomes like a moot point. A moot point. It's kind of like, why am I doing this? If initially I wanted to attract women, or initially I wanted to become smarter and wiser, and you realize that the wiser and smarter people are outliers. They're outside of society. And usually they're outside of society not because they won't wish to be outside of society, but it becomes hard for other people to interact with you if you're so intelligent and so wise and smart that like you're kind of like, it's to make fun of someone like you, or to like, becomes impossible, because it's just like, well, you have all the answers, and like, and to make light of something of the things you say would be ridiculous, because I mean, I'm not saying you're always right, but to an extent you're right, the majority of the times. And then so men, especially men, become intimidated, and they inflate their chests, and they feel like the competition is a form of aggression by you, by the reader, by the artist, the photographer, by the influencer, by the astrologer, which is not on the list, but it should be on the list, because women do love astrology. It should be on the list, anyways. All these things make it hard for you to attract a woman. And once you perfect it to such an extent that no one can compete with you. And then just look at the outliers, people that were generally the top in their field, and how they end up alone. Now, this is not a warning to say like, oh, well, you shouldn't do these things. You should do these things, because these initially will attract a lot of women. And it gets to the point where like you're a novice, and then you start up, and then you're in the mid range, And then at the mid range to the novice, you start attracting a lot of women. And then when you get to the peak, when you're at the